we need to look at the next part. This is part 3 of this particular tutorial of May June 2024, and we shall focus on the next question, which is question 22. We are told that a straight line L has the equation x plus y equals to 5, and the curve C has the equation 2x squared plus 3y squared is equals to 110. We are supposed to find the coordinate of the point where L and C intersect, and in order to do that we are going to use substitution, meaning we are going to solve these two equations simultaneously. We are going to rearrange this question, and it becomes, we take y on the other side, it becomes x equals to 5 minus y, which is here, and then we substitute anywhere we have x, we're going to substitute 5 minus y into this equation that we have here. So meaning at this point we shall have 2 into bracket 5 minus y squared. Expanding the equation and putting the like terms together, we are going to find the expression or the equation reducing to 5y squared minus 20y minus 160 is equals to 0. So the next thing that we are going to do, you can be able to solve this quadratic equation, maybe using quadratic formula. And if you solve that, you are going to get the values of y. At this point, A is 5, B is negative 20, C is negative 160. Then you substitute it into the quadratic formula. You're going to get the first value of y being 8. And to get the second value, the value of x, you're going to substitute this 8 into this point so that it becomes 5 minus 8, which gives us negative 3 as the value of x. Then the second value of y will be 20 minus 60, and it's coming from the negative sign that we're having here, and then we get the value of y being negative 4, and then substituting negative 4 here to be 5 minus negative 4, that becomes positive 9. So since we were supposed to write the coordinates, these are the two coordinates indicating the point of intersection. I would like to bring to your attention that this video has been prepared by Proflan, and Proflan prepares videos on Edexcel and Cambridge, both Igcse and AS, and A-level physics and math. If you are new to Proflan YouTube channel, consider subscribing so that anytime we are going to upload a tutorial, you'll be notified. Without much ado, we need to move to the next question, and the next question is about simplification of indices. And you can see we were given 30 times 25 raised to power 2x plus 7 root 180 times root 5 raised to power 4x plus 9. So we need to realize that 25 can be written as 5 squared. So this power is going to be multiplied to open up here so that we have 4x plus 14. And we also have root 5 can be written as 5 raised to power a half, and that power can be able to be distributed here. So our expression reduces to 30 times 5 raised to power 4 plus 14. And this one, 180, can be written as 5 times 36. So meaning that we can be able to find the square root of 36, but we cannot find the square root of 5. Our expression reduces to this. Now, you need to remember that root 5, this is like root 5 raised to power 1, and this root 5 raised to power 4 x plus 9. So meaning that we have the same base, the powers can be added. So that's why you can see we're having root 5 here, and this root 5 with this power reducing to root 5 plus 4x plus 1. Because we were having a 1 here, that's why we added 1 to 9 so that we have 10 at this point. 30 and 6 can be divided. Of course, we're going to get a 5 there, and that 5 is going to be combined with this 5 here is right power 1, so times 5 raised to power 4 plus 14, this is going to reduce to 5 raised to power 4x plus 15. And then you see if two expressions are divided and they have the same base, we're going to subtract the powers, and that's the relation we shall use in order to get the expression 5 raised to power w, and our w is 2x plus 10. If you're getting value from Proflan YouTube channel, consider subscribing so that in time I'm going to upload the next tutorial, you'll be notified. we're going to also be having tutorials on predictions of May June 2025, so you have every reason to subscribe and also support the channel by sharing this video to your friends and your classmates. Let's move to vectors, and under vectors here we are told the diagram shows a quadrilateral OACB in which OA is 4A, OB is 3B, BC is 2A plus B. We're supposed to find AC in terms of A and B, and in order to find AC, remember you shall start from A to O, then O to B, then B to C. So if you add all this, and remembering that when you are going against the arrow, you are going to put a negative, and the final answer becomes 4B minus 2A. Now, in order to work out the second part, you can look at the way this was given here, where we shall just draw OP, and then we shall produce that line to that extent, and we shall have to using vector method to find OQ. So the first thing we were supposed to do is to find OP, but OP is going to be OA plus AP, right? And AP is going to be 3/5 of AC. Already we have gotten AC, so we are going to say OP will be OA, which is 4A plus 3/5 of AC. So if you simplify, we're going to get our OP as 14/5 A vector plus 12/5 B vector. So if we are finding OQ, we can say let that OQ be OP times lambda times a constant. So this becomes our first equation. The second equation to find OQ is by moving from O to B, then B to Q. We can say let BQ be another constant mu times BC. So that is what we did here, and then we went ahead to form the second equation. So which means that we are going now to solve these two simultaneous equations so that we can be able to find what is the constant lambda and mu. So we shall go ahead here and then solve the equation, and the way to solve it, we are going to equate equation 1. You shall equate equation 1 to equation 2 because both of them are representing OQ, which are same expressions. So you can see now we can be able to equate them. You can be able to equate those terms with A. You can say well, a 14/5 lambda should be equal to 2 mu. So that is going to be you divide by 2 both sides, you're going to get mu is 7/5 lambda. Then also we're going to equate those coefficients of B. So we shall say 12/5 lambda is equal to 3 plus mu, so that we can also substitute. Now once we have equated also this part, we have another equation, which is this one here. So we can be able to substitute mu into this second equation so that we can solve. Now when I did the solution, I got my lambda being equal to 3, and the mu I got it as 31/5. But remember the question for this part, we were supposed to use vector method to find OQ in terms of vector A and vector B. How do you go about it? You need to find OQ. So we shall substitute the value of lambda into this equation, and then we are good to go. Or you can substitute the value of mu into this equation, then you are good to go. So what I decided to do, I substituted lambda, and my lambda value I'd gotten it as 3. So when I substitute 3 into this, I'm going to get 42/5 vector A plus 36/5 vector B, and that becomes the answer. Then the last part of the equation is a transformation of functions, and you need to remember that this is a sine function that is under transformation 2, meaning this is a this is the transformation outside the function, and that affects the y values, and this is inside the function. Plus, if it's plus 60, when you are finding the coordinates, you are going to do the opposite, you shall subtract. But what I had to do is that before this transformation here, this is a sine function, and a sine function behaves like this. This coordinate is 0. At 90 we have the maximum point, and this is actually a graph of y equals to sine theta. So the maximum point is 1, and this coordinate is 90. So that is where our A is. So which means if I want to know what this coordinate of A is, because the transformation was plus, I'll say 90 minus 60, and that becomes 30. So the coordinate here for A, x-axis will be 30, but the y-axis, what was done in the transformation, times 2. So I'll take the y coordinate here, times 2, and that becomes now the coordinate of A as 30, 2. But for B, it was from this point where there was a complete cycle, and that is 360, 0. So the x coordinate, we shall subtract 60, that becomes 300, and to the y coordinate we shall multiply by 2, and that becomes 0. And we've come to the end of this particular tutorial. If you are new to ProfLearn, consider subscribing so that anytime I'm going to upload another tutorial, you'll be notified. If you have not watched part 1, part 2, and part 3, consider checking so that you can be able to watch the entire tutorial on the same. See you in the next tutorial.